Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the MASONRY Strong Podcast. Today, I'm joined by the executive board of the MCAA, Dick Dentinger, Ken Huntley, Paul Cantarella, and Melonie Leslie. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, Justin.
Awesome. How's Major been for you guys?
Great.
Awesome. Curious, just because it's my first one, I want to hear how it's going for you guys.
I think it's been a home run, and our experience on the board all these years, you never know because things can go wrong, and everything has been great.
Awesome. How often are you guys together? All in one place.
We're probably together 3-4 times a year anyway,
I
and
think
then
easily.
At minimum.
and then there's other times there'll be 2 or 3 of us at different times. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to start with you, Melanie. When did you get into your position on the board?
I guess January, right? Yep.
This
So-
January?
Well, yeah, as secretary.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, at the annual
But
meeting they
before
voted,
that,
and
yes, at
Okay.
the annual meeting they voted. So then I was voted into the secretary position. But before that, I've been on as regional G vice president for some time. Yeah.
we had to wait for the blood work to come back.
Yeah, to make sure I was going to be
It was
okay
all
and
good eventually.
acceptable. So give my firstborn child, that kind of thing.
So this will be my 3rd year.
Awesome.
I'm at treasurer now, and just glad to be here.
Awesome.
5.5 years in, and it's been wonderful. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and then getting to know the previous chairman that came through, and then getting to know Dick better, Melanie and Paul. It has been awesome.
Awesome. This is your first. Is it a full
So
year?
I've done 6 years. There's 2 more,
Okay.
and this is the last 2, and I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
I can already see I'm gonna miss it, but I do love the process because there's all kinds of people qualified that you never know, but they approach you, and then you have to talk to your wife or your spouse, your husband, and decide whether or not you're all in, because it's more of a mental commitment. We'd be here anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of calls and all that, but the relationship building and the support system for Masonry Strong, but for each other as
Yeah.
well.
So how do you guys work together? Well, do you guys work well together? Or is there a lot of butting heads at all?
No, I think at the end of the day, I think everybody has their dynamic, but I think it all adds. I don't think anybody, honestly, we don't butt heads on.
No,
sadly.
I think we all bring ideas to the table, and some are good and some are like, well, that's good, but let's see what we can do better. But I mean, I think we're all pretty open to ideas and everything. So I think we get along pretty well and enjoy each other's company too. So that makes it fun.
Awesome. And how's it been seeing the MCAA grow up to what it is today?
To see what the ones that's come before us has done has made it, I think, so much easier for us at our level, because the MCAA is in such a great position now, but it's been done by people that's come before us. And I'm so thankful for what they've done.
Well, look at that contractor roundtable meeting today. And it was a great attendance, but there are some people who are still in it, but they're passively on the side watching. They have so much to offer, but they've done their time and they're watching and letting other people do their stuff. But this board is a pretty good representation. I was coming here as a kid in the 70s when my parents would bring me, and then in the 90s as a professional. And Kent's family's got multi-generational in the North Carolina. They're the icons. Your family, multi-generational age group right down, and here's a woman-owned business.
Yeah.
And it's just remarkable to be part of it all.
And I think that's what, I'm sorry,
No, go
Melanie.
ahead.
I'm sorry, I think that's what makes our board kind of unique in this, that we have a cross-section between union, contractors, non-union. We have a woman-owned business, so it makes our board, I think, be pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of cool things going on that, like you said, our predecessors probably were pipe dreams, I guess you would say. I know like my dad, joining, all these things, and I start talking about everything because he was part of the MCAA going on, and it's like we've got all these, the foundation, what that's doing, the upping of training. Now we have AI. We've got, Checkoff and how that ties in, remodifying NCCR. I mean, just so many cool things happening and so much to yet happen and continue moving forward that I think it's really kind of rejuvenating for the organization as a whole, really.
Different size companies, and yet we're all doing the same thing. Justin, you'll get a kick out of it. Jeff, our leader. Quickly, we need a picture taken with the other the brick and the block producer people. So I'm sent an errand boy to go get Melanie and Paul, who were missing. And in the lobby, I found Melanie, and she and her husband, who have young kids, who are managing a family, managing a business, And they're going back and forth, and Brian's eyeballing Melanie, and I'm saying, I need her for a picture. He said, I need her first. I mean, this is during an event for this here, and she's ordering rebar material in between while it's just so much fun to be part of it. Go back inspired.
I would have to circle back though, Justin. We don't always get along because this morning before our board meeting, I'm Dick's wingman because I'm vice chair to Dick. And so this morning, Dick and I got there early and we talked for probably 15, 20 minutes. And a few minutes later, Dick came up and he said, some wingman you are. And he had his name tag on and turned it around. And he had on Cheryl Dentinger, his wife's name tag. I didn't even notice. So yeah, there is some animosity. I forgot to mention that. So we do have some animosity.
Thanks, partner.
So you can see there's no fun and games on the
What has been, I guess, collectively, if there is one moment, what's been the most chaotic moment as collectively as the board? Can you think of one? Or is it all pretty smooth sailing?
I don't think we really
I don't
have.
think you could say one big.
Yeah. So.
I gotcha.
But I would say people warned me when I first got on that there'll be times, because there's always some wind coming that you don't know about. But whenever there's like decisions to make, others, regional VPs, other contractors will get in our ear and put pressure on. And that's who we're working for.
Yeah.
So there is some pressure where you know what I mean?
Yeah,
no,
you're
We're
right.
like, oh my
Yes,
God, we're going to do this
100%.
call. I hope we do the right.
Represent well.
And Jeff won't see this, right? So, he's watching the whole mothership and we're watching him. Thankfully, he's a rock star, but we have a duty and it's a difficult job sometimes.
Yeah.
Thank God. Seriously. I mean, Jeff is such a good, he keeps raising the bar and it's made our job easy, but
and keeps wrangling us around, to make sure we're where we're supposed to be when we need to be there.
puts up with us.
Yeah, everybody before us set us up, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They did I feel like they did the hard work, honestly.
Is there any kind of mentoring, like, that, when you get kind of brought into it, like, shifting, like, do you mentor him at all? Like, let's go down the line.
Amen, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
We have always, though, if you look around, and I think everyone on the board would say that as well, we've looked up to I guess you would call them the greats in the industry, and I've looked at them and tried to follow how they've done. And I've asked myself, am I up to their level? I hope that I am, and I hope that we live up to what they've done.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say that at the end of the day, I look up to these guys. Yeah. It's just like they're saying they looked up to those people. So but I hope that I can do anywhere near the job that these two guys do and the others before me.
Oh, you will. I mean, think of Larry's influence on me. I didn't know who he was. And he has just impacted my career in so many ways and been such an ally. Yeah. My commitment to here has been paid back by that relationship, this relationship. Yeah. Just my dad, when he was chairman, Dee Brown was his vice chairman. Dee Brown. I mean, my parents had a mom and pop shop, but you guys feel that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think Mike Sutter was the catalyst towards my involvement at locally too, but him and my dad's relationship and Mike and Colleen and my parents, and they had such a close relationship. But I mean, Mike just, being who he was and him following this path. And he's always been, I think trying to mentor me into that position, and grateful for that. Not only fill the shoes of my dad, but also, you talk about people before you and good things they did. And he was a competitive, he was a friendly competitor. We were just having this conversation. I mean, that's who he was. I mean, we had each other's back in the local market, but not just that, we were more than that, so absolutely. It's pretty cool to have those relationships with people.
Yeah. Awesome. I kind of want to go down the line. What is your guys' favorite part so far about being in your position on the board of the MCAA?
Oh, you guys put me on the spot. See, they do that all the time. They like to do that.
Because she's the best.
I think my favorite is to, develop these relationships even deeper, with these people and these connections, because I found how valuable they are. I mean, I feel like sometimes my parents may have missed it a little bit, because they, when you're not sure and you don't put yourself out there, you don't connect with people as much. But not just that, I think this is something that came from Mike, it's like part of going through this process, as you mentioned about Larry doing for you and how much it helped you as a business professional and just different things and grow as a person. Mm-hmm. And I think going through that whole process while simultaneously getting to help the industry, I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Come back to you.
No, one more time. Repeat it. I'm sorry, because I'm getting someone listening to her, and then I'm like, all right, that's gonna be next. All right.
What's been your favorite part about being on the board so far?
I think for me, it's trying to give back to the industry that's given me a great life, and to be here for 10 years and see what everybody else has done and what they have given up to help our industry. It just, I guess, at the end of the day, inspires me that if we all sit on our hands, nothing's going to be done. So I guess it's the hope that maybe somehow we're making a small difference by trying to maybe step up and try to help, and promote our industry and make masonry strong.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My passion is workforce development, and that's something that I came on board hoping that we could make some change. And I think via what we have with the checkoff program and all that, we can make that change. And then everybody on the board and then everybody in our industry seems committed to that. But then to go back to Melonie's too, it's not just to come off of hers, but relationships. We were just chatting out in the hallway a moment ago about that, and Paul brought that up about the relationships you develop across the country. And it's someone you can pick up the phone and say, hey, I got a problem here, and they'll help you. So
That's awesome.
that's what I thoroughly enjoy that part of it.
It's all of that. And like I say, I grew up like these guys did, in a family business, and my observation was I could feel it at the dinner table. When times were good, it was awesome. And when times are bad, you knew it. You could see it in your parents, what they were dealing with while they're trying to provide your life. And we thrived on that, and it made us who we are now, I think, as individuals. But being part of this group, you're surrounded by all kinds of stories just like that. So it's a kind of a selfish thing. For me, it was a way to get from others. So I was influencing people, which I like to do that, to hopefully make their attempt at it doable and easier. But then also, I'm in my early 60s, and we're going to live to be 100. I'd like to keep doing this. I learned so much from these people and from everyone out in those meetings who, every time you think you've learned it, you figure out, I don't know what I'm doing. And when you're going through tough times, it helps to have allies. So if we can help all of our members do it right, from the little we know, it's worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when we have meetings like we did today, this morning, we had, Dan from the MCAA who gave his presentation on AI, other, business savings programs that are doing so many different things that really haven't been done in the industry yet. What kind of goes through your guys' head seeing that this is the future of the industry?
The future looks bright.
Yeah.
For the MCAA.
That's awesome.
Good comment.
And I think of how far we've come. And again, it goes back to the ones before us, but listening to Dan present that, who would have ever thought that a group of Masons would have been talking about AI and what it can do for us? So that shows you how far we've come.
Or even doing a podcast.
Even doing a podcast,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that we're keeping that, I think someone said, keeping a pulse, keeping the pulse on it, you know what I mean? So that we're staying at the forefront. And I think that's part of kind of, on a lot of different levels as an industry, that it's really positive that we're doing that and kind of, to your point, shifting, just this is the way we've always done it. And instead looking to new and fun things.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid of it. Embrace it, because otherwise you're just going to be up in the ditch and
Left
watching
in the
everyone
dust.
go by.
Yeah.
And why not enjoy it? It's fun. I remember my dad was on a committee with some St. Louis contractors, and when the personal computer became available, to do a spreadsheet was like something for MIT people or whatever, but to do an estimate, it was yellow legal pad, and then suddenly this spreadsheet. But spreadsheets are dangerous, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're going to rely on what it spits out. But think of it back then to what Dan and them were talking about. It's like Star Wars.
Yeah.
We're talking to a non-being.
Well, I remember my dad doing his bids way back, in a DOS system, you know what I mean? But he was always big on, even though, he was big on technology and new innovative things, equipment or software or.
He was one of the first people walking around at these events with his earpiece.
Bluetooth. His Bluetooth.
Is that a hearing
It's
aid?
it's like permanently attached, I think.
One of the most mature people here, and he's got the most modern stuff before
Yeah,
anybody
Does he
else.
still got it?
He does still wear. He has a Bluetooth, not as much, but yeah, he still does. But yeah, but I mean, his phone, everything. I mean, even when he retired and he was working in the other industry, and I was amazed how all of a sudden he figured out how to use the maps on his phone, and then he could check and see where everything was. But he's always been big equipment, you know what I mean? And if you invest in it and you put the time in and learn all that new stuff, how much it can benefit. Is it hard at first? Yeah, maybe. But if you invest in it, spend the time to do it. So
What does Justin
fun.
think? You're
Yeah.
like, you look at us, all these different age groups and stuff. Do you think we got what it's?
Absolutely.
gonna take?
You guys, there are a lot of people who are, even younger than you, and even like your guys' age, who will look at AI, something like AI, and turn it away. Who'll get scared of it.
Yeah.
But you guys are very accepting of it, which I think is important for an industry like this, because it's an ancient industry and it's still huge and alive today.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's, you're not turning away something that is very different is very important, I think. And I never thought I'd be a part of the industry personally, but having been here for a year and seeing just how much it's grown in the year is crazy to me.
yeah.
Do you guys ever reflect from when, looking back to when you were a kid and wanting to be an astronaut or a firefighter or an artist? Do you ever look back and wow, I can't believe this is where I'm at?
I do all the time. I mean, I think I wrote an article kind of about it one time. I always said I'm not going to do this because I watched my parents do it. And like you said, at the dinner table, when times were good, it was great. But then when times were hard, I mean, you knew it. And that's okay, but I was like, oh, I'm doing something else. But then, during college, and I worked for them and I stayed. And I don't know if I got bit by the bug or drank the Kool-Aid. I don't know, but I never left. But the opportunities it's given me, the things I've seen, the places I've been, both, through the association or, in the work we've done, it's just, when I sit there and kind of start tabulating it all, I'm like, wow, what other thing would I have done that I would have had those opportunities? So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. What did you want to be?
I always wanted, this is always what I wanted to do. Yeah, I was always with my father. But a bigger for me was reading the MCAA magazine for all those years. Yeah. And honestly, two big things for me were Miss Damian Lang and Mackie Bounds. I remember my first time in Vegas, and I'm like, holy man, there's that guy in that cowboy hat. I'm like, holy crap, that's, my wife's like, who's that? I'm like, that's Mackie, you know what I mean? And like, and Damian, and it's like, so scared. And I laugh now, like, I see them guys, like, I give them a hug. Yeah. And they give me a hug back, and it's like, man, this guy give me a hug, man. I'm like, it's awe-inspiring, I guess, because for me, this is all I know. This is what I love. Yeah. And to see, I guess I'd call them my heroes. I mean, you read that magazine. To me, I didn't know what it was. My parents were never involved. So it was like, this is the elite of the elite. Man, these are the people. And to just come that one time and be here, it's
you're at the head
it's
of
crazy.
the table.
And and I mean, I always say this about Paul Odom. It was him, my first time, making me feel comfortable talking to me, my wife, and I remember going home and like, why'd that guy talk to us? Like, why was he spending his time? Like, and like, there's all kinds of people there. Why does he want to talk to us? And it was just, but it was a family. It made you feel welcome. Yeah. I can't say enough about the MCAA. So that's that part. No, I guess I wasn't dreaming it, but it's a dream. Yeah. So
that's awesome. I don't know much about you because I haven't had a solo interview with you yet. How did you get started?
You had a trowel in your hand when you came out, right?
He cut his own umbilical cord with a pointing trowel.
Sure.
Not to single you out, but you're the only one I haven't had.
I think they got her into the job trailer off the scaffold.
They're right. I grew up and this is what I wanted to do. My dad, I'm a 4th generation Mason. I've got a son that's a 5th generation Mason. So this is what I wanted to do from the time I was born. And it's something that's a passion of mine. I don't get to lay as much anymore, but that's one of my proudest accomplishments to say is that I'm a Mason.
When you first started, when you came out the womb with the trowel, did you know that anything like a board of an association over the whole industry is possible?
No, I didn't. And to Paul's point, I was in Vegas several years ago, And I'm just like Paul. Mackie Bounds came up to me and he said, Kent, we would like for you to consider to be on the board. And I was like, me? Why me? And you don't tell Mackie no. So.
No.
That
But
doesn't happen.
to your point, though, Justin, it's not something I never thought was possible. And looking back, I don't think that I'm better than anybody else, but I think that each one of us have a story to tell, and we should be there. And if we can be there to help give back, as Paul said a moment ago, that's what I think we're all supposed to do. But no, back to it. This is what I wanted to do. It's what I've done my whole life. It's just that this is an extension of what I've learned over my life. So
All I would say is no, I wanted to be involved with groups of people and thrive from their energy. So, but originally was in advertising was my career, but I adore the career I've had. I'm so thankful for it. I will say that we're just regular, hardworking people like anybody else. By that I mean is if any of us were in a different industry, I think Melonie, you'd be doing the same thing in whatever industry. You'd be on a board somewhere, and Paul, you would be too, and Kent for sure. We just happen to be in this career. And everyone that has other positions and is taking time from their weekend and traveling to do this, the hundreds of people that are here are all just like that. I don't talk about what I do at MCAA back at our office. Nobody really cares. They don't know, but I'm doing it on behalf. They know it's important and all that. What hit me the most recently was when I wrote my first column. You have to write a column when you become chairman. It's good and bad. It's a difficult process to do.
Especially when I'm asking you.
Yes, and you're the man. But I did my first column, and I didn't know there were one of our tenders, Mason tenders, is like follows social media and all that, picked up on it and sent it to everyone on the cruise. And for all I know, they don't even know that we're doing this stuff. But that just touched me. I was like, you are influencing, because they were proud of our company for trying to participate in the industry as a whole. And I'm trying to live up to Mackie and Mark Kemp and my dad's and everybody else's and Larry's, what they're expecting of us.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Nice. And then wrapping up, what do you guys think of the future? For the association.
I wish I was 38 and could be part of it all, because it's so exciting.
Yeah.
We're going to last.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I guess I would say the same thing. I mean, I think the things that we've worked so hard to put ourselves in a good position to get resources to be able to do so much more for the industry, from workforce development, from this AI development, from so many different directions, that I think there's such a promising future for us to grow our industry, increase our market share, all these things, and kind of turn this maybe around a little bit on the workforce. And so it's an exciting time, I think, with what's out there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think for me that it's been watching the membership grow since I've been here, and it's just gone up. And this mid-year, there's a lot of younger faces around, and it's kind of exciting to start seeing. I think people really are wanting to get in the fight. Fight the fight, and as I always say, together we're stronger, and we need those people.
Yeah, awesome.
And for my part, I was over there today just looking. We went out at our board meeting and looking at the other associations that are there represented, because we're a partnership.
Exactly.
It's from the block producers to the brick producers, and so that part's exciting in the fact that we're all working together toward a common goal. So if we can keep that up, our future is very bright.
Awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate you all for taking time to be here, especially on the late notice.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we will see you guys next time.